right, here we go.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Get boxing gloves ready.
No.
Because I didn't tell Robbie what we're actually, instead of talking about the fight, Robbie and I are just gonna fight.
Wow.
Yeah. Full 12 rounds. We're gonna recreate the Pacquiao.
Pacquiao.
I can't even. Okay, that's bad.
I'm sure it'd be more entertaining than that.
Probably. You're probably right. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, how are you?
Robbie, I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. And on the phone right now, we have a brand new special guest, a good buddy of ours. His name is Shawn. He is a former cast member of the Craig Show. I guess is that a good way to put it?
Yeah. I officially retired from all Craig Show activity and taking my talents elsewhere.
There you go.
Well,
okay.
South Beach?
Yeah, a little too warm for me at South Beach. Maybe I'll head up to Toronto.
Oh, there you go.
That works.
Stick to Canada. Represent Canada. There you go.
All right. So, the reason why we had Shawn on today is we're going to be discussing. Obviously, unless you've been living under a rock this past week, you know that this past Saturday was the big Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao fight of the century, as they called it. And Floyd Mayweather was victorious in a unanimous decision to improve to 48-0. So, Shawn, let's get right into it. I know you watched the fight. Kyle and I are both sort of following along. Just so you're...
Actually, I watched the fight as well. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you did?
I watched the entire fight on Saturday night.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, so I guess I was the lone one that decided not to shell out $100 for it. But...
well, I found ways around it.
That's good. But Shawn, let me ask you, just sort of your initial thoughts on what you saw Saturday night.
I saw exactly what I thought I was going to see, and that was Floyd Mayweather just simply demolishing Manny Pacquiao. And then when I say demolishing, I don't mean, hitting him with haymakers. I mean, he had him exactly doing what he wanted to do. I mean, I hear a lot of people saying, he's not a fighter, he's a boxer. And that's exactly what he did. Floyd he's very smart, although he, can't really read very well. He's very smart. He's a smart fighter where he knew he had the round one and he protected himself. I mean, you can say what you want about him, like him or not like him. He's the best in the world at what he does, and it's very, very tough for anyone to argue that at this point. And, as an excitement level, a true boxing fan really can be impressed at what Floyd Mayweather does in the ring. His training speaks for itself. He works extremely hard, and he's very, very good defensive fighter. He's an unbelievable defensive fighter, and when he has to, when he's up against the ropes, he knows how to get out of it. And we saw him do that many times during the fight. And as far as Pacquiao goes, I don't want to do it justice to Manny because he was a great fighter. Keyword was he isn't the fighter that he used to be. Floyd still is. So I think we saw a lot of those examples on Saturday night.
All right, Kyle. Now that since you actually watched the fight, I didn't know that. But what did you what did you see out of the fight? Your takeaways from it.
Well, it's interesting because this is actually the first boxing match I think I've ever seen from beginning to end. And I'm still kind of learning about boxing, how it works. I mean, okay, the most I know about boxing, the only thing I've learned from boxing is playing Fight Night Round 3. I'm not going to lie. I know nothing about boxing. But it was fun watching the fight. And I do agree, Mayweather's a great fighter. And I thought it was interesting to hear that, I guess, Pacquiao was injured, but they were trying to cover it up.
Yeah, shoulder injury. That's right.
Yeah, I thought I didn't. I mean, obviously, people didn't find that out until
after the fight.
Because it would have affected the betting and everything. So a lot of money would have been lost. But it was an interesting fight, though. I honestly for a while I couldn't tell who was winning. I thought Pacquiao was winning, but I don't know how to judge a boxing fight. So, because I saw Pacquiao, like you said, Shawn, he was tied up a lot. He was, Mayweather was tied up a lot by Pacquiao, but then he seemed to have gotten out of it, and he seemed to run away with the gold in that fight. So, yeah.
I mean, 48-0 is 48-0, obviously. So he got the job done. Yeah, Shawn, I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on this whole Pacquiao injury situation? Do you think what kind of effect do you think it had on the fight?
Well, I think we saw that Manny definitely didn't have the punching power that he had during his career. And, we see him usually, guys do block his punches, but he's still able to, inflict damage after those punches that are blocked. And, he was getting a lot of those shots off against Floyd. And, Kyle, you watch the fight, you see Floyd after everyone thought Manny, got a ton of shots in on him. Floyd just shook his head, nope, like it didn't hurt. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
We really saw a weaker version of Manny Pacquiao. But, he has the injury, use whatever he wants. The guy's old. He was a power puncher whose days are behind him. He can have his surgery. It won't mean a thing. So if they have a rematch, it'll be the same thing. Floyd will win 12 round decision, no problem.
It is interesting. A lot of when I hear people talking about this fight, a lot of what I've heard has been, Floyd was sort of dancing around the ring. And like you guys were saying, it does seem like he was very defensive, and he obviously got the punches in that he needed to win the fight. But a lot of people were joking around. It's like they paid for a boxing match and got Dancing with the Stars, in a way. But it's interesting because I think you guys hit the nail right on the head. Floyd is a very defensive fighter, and he does what he needs to do to win. I think that the Pacquiao injury obviously probably did play a role in it. Obviously, when you have a shoulder injury, when you're trying to box, it's difficult. And I guess I want to ask the two of you. First of all, I'll start with you, Shawn. Do you think Pacquiao? Do you think it's respectable that he went ahead with the fight with the shoulder injury now that we know it to be, or do you think it was a bad decision on his part? Obviously, money-wise, it was a very good decision, but just in terms of boxing-wise, do you think it was a smart decision or a not-so-smart decision?
I don't. That's a tough answer because he knows that if he were to have the surgery, he would have had to wait almost another year until he can get back in the ring, and add another year to him, and he's even older. So he probably thought, and this is just my guess, he probably thought this is my best chance to beat Floyd, and I'm going to go for it right now. And I think if he were to wait, another year or so after the surgery, he would have not been in near the physical condition that he's in right now. So, although, if you're going to fight Floyd Mayweather, you need to not only be 100%, you need to be even more.
Yeah.
To beat him. So,
that is true.
Again, I don't think it mattered. I really don't think it had an impact.
Kyle, what do you think? Do you think it was a good decision by him to fight, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a little tough. I didn't know a whole lot about either fighter before the fight began, so I can't really say I have a huge opinion on either one. At least the pre-fight, it seemed like they were both great fighters. I heard a lot about what both of them have done, and hold on, I'm contradicting myself here. I've heard, I just heard basically that they're both good fighters. I haven't seen their previous fights, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I don't know offhand, but it seemed like I figured it would have been a pretty even match, but it looks like Mayweather, at least from what we saw in the fight, looked like he was definitely the better skilled fighter.
Definitely.
Too, so.
Money's money, obviously, but it sounds like Pacquiao could be headed for some disciplinary action too. For I guess there was a failure there to disclose the injury pre-fight, so that could be a tough break for him.
I feel like with any sport, if you fail to you're right. Money wise, it was a good decision, but it's definitely going to affect you. I think in the long run when you when you kind of not really say these certain things.
Yeah.
So,
all right, very quick, Shawn. I think you kind of alluded to earlier. Do you think there's going to be a rematch, and if so, who wins?
I don't think it will happen. I think, with Floyd saying, yeah, definitely, I'll fight him again, probably means it's not going to happen, if that makes any sense. I think, I'd like to see Floyd fight Bradley, Timothy Bradley, who actually beat Manny, but Manny also beat him, and he's kind of a good fighter, and I don't think Floyd will fight Manny again, just because it's been done before. And I know Floyd has done a rematch. He did one with Mondiana, and same thing. Decision. Well, the first time they fought, it was really close. It actually could have won either way. The second time, Floyd beat him pretty well. But there's really not a ton out there right now for Floyd to fight. But I would obviously, like to see it fight someone who can push him.
Definitely. And I did hear that Floyd Mayweather, his latest contract is up in September, so I guess he has one more fight that he has to get in before September, and then who knows? After that, Kyle, quickly, your thoughts. Do you think there will be a rematch, and if so, who wins?
No, I think I'm going to have to agree with Shawn in this one, but I think it would be kind of cool if they pulled a Rocky 2. Kind of like when Apollo defeated Rocky at the end of the first. Oops, sorry, spoiler alert. For those of you who haven't seen the first Rocky, I don't know. You never know. Maybe they could. Maybe the people judging that fight will just watch Rocky 1 and 2 and be like, you know what? That's it. We need a rematch. We need a Rocky 2 in this fight.
Maybe. I think that there won't be. I agree with you guys. Yeah. There were a lot of
realistically.
issues. But honestly, there were a lot of issues surrounding this first fight. They had trouble agreeing on a lot of things. So it was hard enough to get one fight. I just don't see there being a second one, no matter what Floyd Mayweather is saying. But I guess we'll have to see. I mean, Pacquiao obviously is out for a good, basically another year due to surgery. Shawn, before we let you go, I was going to touch on this, but the one time you and I were actually on the Craig show together, you played Tim Tebow. And I just was wondering, since Tim Tebow just signed with the Eagles, what your thoughts were on that, and him potentially making a comeback into the NFL.
Well, here's the thing with Tim Tebow and myself is that I'm a little biased. So naturally, my answer is he's going to succeed. He'll find a way. But, in today's society, there are two sides of people who argue in sports. It's people who go for stats and skills, and people who go for winners. And the argument that I make around here is that a lot of people are, obviously obsessed with Tom Brady, and that he's, won multiple championships, although he maybe always hasn't been the guy with the strongest arm or, the most accuracy. So here's my thing with Tebow. Look at his record as a starting quarterback. He won games. Yeah. Granted, he only completed about 50-something% of his passes, but he still found ways to win games. And I think that's kind of Chip Kelly's mentality is he wants to find ways to win games that aren't really orthodox. If there's any quarterback within recent history who does that, Tebow might be that guy. So that's my little piece on maybe he has a shot. I'd love it. I'd love it if he did, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's won a playoff game, and he's won games in the NFL. So apparently he's really redone and revamped his throwing motion. So there is hope for him, obviously. Shawn, we thank you for coming on. I know you're a busy guy, but we really appreciate it, and we hope you'll come back at some point and see us in the near future.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun, and love to call in, do it again. I hope you guys you have a good night, and kind of look out. There's an RKO right behind you.
All right, on that note, Shawn, thanks again, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Keep playing a good fight. Take care.
All right, take care.
Recovering from the RKO.
All right, so
okay.
You all right?
Yeah, I just got RKO.
You're gonna live?
I think so. I think I'll be okay. I'll be fine.
All right, so that is Shawn, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
Yeah, very, very cool to have him finally on. It's been a long time coming. Good to finally have him on an episode.
Yeah, right.
So thank you, Shawn, again. All right, so now we're going to move on to the end portion of our episode, our monologues. I'm going to start with mine. I don't know if anybody's heard, but today the independent investigator for the NFL releases Deflategate findings, and basically...
Oh my god, after the Super Bowl's all over and the whole football season's done with...
Yeah, well, and you're going to love this. Basically, I read some of the report, and basically I put it in this context.
Okay.
They think something happened, but they really can't prove it. Because basically all that they said was that it's more probable than not that the Patriots intentionally deflated football, and it's more probable than not that Tom Brady generally knew about what was happening. So
basically, they went from point A to point A.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally nothing happened.
They basically said that they think something happened, but they can't prove it. And honestly, if it were in a court of law, they'd probably get laughed out of court. It's
like watching the second Hobbit movie. Oh, we got to the dragon. Oh, wait! But the dragon escaped. Nothing happened. I'm sorry.
But it's kind of ridiculous. It doesn't make me any less excited about winning the Super Bowl or anything like that. I mean, the Patriots were the best team when they needed to be. And honestly, a few deflated footballs for one half really didn't affect that AFC Championship game. They still won 41-7. I mean, come on. Garrett Blount just ran over the Colts. Just stop it. But I understand that, there are rules and, they have to, do due process. But, I mean, come on. It's kind of ridiculous in this situation. They're getting punished basically because of not Deflategate, because of Spygate a bunch of years back, and the NFL just hasn't liked them since then. So it's just...
I think people just like to hear the word Deflategate, so that's why
they like to have their balls deflated, It's... I'm sorry, I had to go there. I'm sorry.
That was pretty funny.
All right, now that I've completely got us off the rails, Kyle, you got anything for us today?
Since the episode was the big theme was boxing, and I briefly mentioned it while we were talking about the fight. I want to do a quick video game review of Fight Night Round 3, which was a game that came out in 2005 or 2000. I think it was like 2005, 2006. On Xbox 360 and among other systems. And I remember when I first played that game, I mean, the graphics, for its time, were incredible. And whenever the fighters get hit and everything, you actually see, the marks. And the game is so in-depth. Even while they're not fighting, you actually play as the guy. What's the guy called on the side? Just the sideline guy. The guy who always
plays. The judge. Oh, the trainer.
The trainer. You actually get two roles in the game. You get to be the fighter, and you can pick Muhammad Ali and Joe
Mike
Frazier.
Tyson?
I think Mike Tyson's in the game. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think you can pick all of them.
Cool.
And they look so incredible. They're
very realistic.
Yeah, the graphics are so realistic. It's like you're actually looking at them at their young selves, when they were in their prime, and you actually get to be the fighter. Obviously, going all through all 10 rounds and everything, and every mark counts. The game is so detailed, realistic. The marks on the head. If you hit someone in the head, it's going to take more damage than you would on, say, in the torso area.
Gotcha.
But and then the second role is you actually get to be the trainer, and you get during in between rounds you actually get to ice their wounds. So you can actually recover your player a little bit as the game goes on every time between the rounds. So it's a really fun game. It's a good kind of 2-player game. I'd recommend it to anyone who's a big boxing fan. So, yeah. And
or people who just like punching people.
Exactly. Who like me. I don't know anything about boxing, but I had fun with the game. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I've never played it, but I'll take your word for it. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Again, I want to thank our buddy Shawn for calling in. Pleasure as always. For Kyle, I'm Robbie, signing off here. We'll see you next time. Talk to you later.
By the way, as the credits roll, I just wanted to mention that the best fight of the century is definitely not Manny versus Pacquiao.
No, Manny versus Floyd.
Manny versus Floyd. Oh my god, this is gonna have the blooper section. Is it? It's definitely not Manny versus Floyd. It's a tie. Rocky versus Apollo, and Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali.
Very cool.